Hello P6, welcome to Monday's literacy lesson. Now for today, I would like you to make sure that at some point today you log in to Bug Club. Remember, it's really important to do some reading every day, so why don't at some point this morning or this afternoon you head over to our Bug Club website and go and do some reading. Try and read, please, every day for at least 15 minutes, P6. To get yourself started for our main lesson today, I would love you to have a go at a game, the Coconut Vials game. You might have played it about 2 weeks ago. In the Coconut Vials game, what you have to do is fire the rockets at the falling coconuts, and can you fire some double vials at the coconuts to match the word. So have a go at that game, click on the link, and I think you would enjoy that. But our main activity today is all about the Loch Ness Monster. Now, have you ever heard of the Loch Ness Monster? What country is the Loch Ness Monster supposed to be from? Yeah, it's Scotland, isn't it? The Loch Ness Monster, well, it's what's known as a legend. It's a story which lots of people believe to be true, but at the moment it hasn't yet been proved. Is there a monster in Loch Ness? Is there not? Well, lots of people say yes there is, and lots of people say no there isn't. There are lots of stories all about the Loch Ness Monster, and people have been telling stories about the Loch Ness Monster for hundreds of years. So before you read through today's story, I would like you to go onto our website and I would like you to click on this link and go and watch this story all about Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster. And it will introduce you to some of the legends, the different stories that have been told about the Loch Ness Monster over the years. Once you've watched that video, then go and download today's story. It's called The Legend of the Loch Ness Monster. And what we're going to do today is we're going to use it to do some reciprocal reading. So go and download the story, pause the video if you need to. Then once you've got the story on your screen, we're going to read it through together. So are you ready to read it through with me? You can read it from the screen or you can read it from your page. It's called The Legend of the Loch Ness Monster. One account of a possible sighting. It was late in the afternoon. It was just beginning to get dark, and banks of mist slowly drifted across the water. Joe Ashton had been fishing from his small boat on Loch Ness for much of the afternoon. Business had generally been slow. He had caught a few small trout, enough for his evening meal, although an abundance of eels had caused considerable problems as they had stolen much of his bait and snagged his equipment. He was just thinking about starting up the small outboard motor on his boat and heading back to the jetty when he heard a loud splash that seemed to come from the water immediately behind him. He turned quickly, making sure the boat remained stable, to see a large black shape moving slowly across the surface of the loch. From a distance of some 50 metres, he could see what appeared to be part of a huge humped body sticking out just above the surface of the murky water. He could also see part of a thin, long neck and a small head. It was propelling itself smoothly through the water, leaving a creamy wake of small waves and ripples. Joe blinked several times to make sure he was not dreaming, before reaching quickly for the camera that he kept in his rucksack in order to record some of his more notable catches. In the few seconds it took him to get the camera ready, the creature made several more forward movements before, with another loud splash, it submerged into the depths of the lake. Joe put down the camera, regretting that he had taken so long setting it up. Had this been a genuine sighting of the famous monster he had heard so much about? Or had his eyes played tricks on him in the twilight? Perhaps it had just been the shadows, possibly a large floating branch or a half-sunken tree trunk, or even a family of otters taking a late swim? Would anyone believe his story when he got home? If only he had been quick enough to take the picture. He could have used it as evidence. Now, P6, what I want you to do is go and read through that story at least one more time. And if somebody's there working with you, why don't you read it aloud to them? And don't forget to think about using expression as you're reading it. So read through the story at least one more time. Pause the video if you need to. And then for today's task, we are going to be thinking about our reciprocal reading skills. Now, over at P6 and in P5 as well, you were looking at your reciprocal reading skills. And I've reminded you about those on the website. So there are 4 key skills. If we're clarifying something, then what we're doing is we're trying to make the meaning of the text clearer. So we're looking for words that we maybe aren't so sure about what they mean. For example, if I was reading through this story and it said that Joe turned quickly, making sure the boat remained stable. What does it mean if the boat remains stable? We know that stable can mean the home of a horse. But is that what stable means in this sentence? What does stable mean there? What does it mean when it says that the creature was propelling itself? What does that mean? It was propelling itself. What does it mean that the eels had snagged his equipment? Can you perhaps explain what some of those words, and there are lots of other trickier words in the passage, like genuine? What does it mean if you're regretting something? Submerged. There are lots of really interesting words in our passage. So if you're clarifying, you're going to help somebody understand what's happened. You're going to make the meaning clearer. Another one of our key reciprocal reading skills is to do some questioning, where we write our own questions. And we try and begin our questions with different words and phrases. So we might use words like why did, who was, what happened when, why do you think? Try and use different starters for your questions today. If we're summarising something, then we're trying to pick out the main ideas and leave out all those extra details that really aren't so important. So what were the main things that this story was about? What's the main thing it's about? Who are the main characters? What happened and how did it finish? And if we're predicting, well, predicting means what do you think happens next? So at the end of our story, Joe is annoyed with himself because he didn't manage to take that photograph. But is that the end of the story? Does he suddenly hear a noise behind him? Does he see something else in the water? On another day when he's out on the water, does something else happen? When you're predicting, you're using the clues from the story that you've read, the title, if there's an illustration, whatever you've got, you use it to help you write a prediction. Now today, P6, there are 2 levels that I want you to choose from. If you choose to do the higher level work today, then you're going to download this worksheet. And you've got 4 sections to fill in today. So I want you to have a go at clarifying. So pick out 4 of the more interesting words, write down what that word is or phrase. It could be a short phrase, write it down and then work out what that means. Use a dictionary. Make up 4 questions from the story. So try and begin those questions with different question words. Have a go at summarising. So use ACHE, A-C-H-E. What was it about? Who are the main characters? What happened? And how did it end? Shouldn't take you any more than 60 words. And then have a go at being a predictor. Can you tell us what you think would happen next if you were to continue the story? Now that's if you choose the higher level activity. If you choose to do the lower level activity today, then you're concentrating on 2 parts. You're concentrating on clarifying and questioning. So again, you have to choose 4 of the more interesting words or phrases from the passage. Write down what the word or phrase is and tell us what it means. I've given you a link to an online dictionary. So if you don't have a dictionary at home that you can use, why don't you try using that online dictionary? And then if you've chosen this level, I'd like you also to make up your own questions. Now, once you've had a go at doing your reciprocal reading task, I'd like you to be a little bit more creative, P6, because I have given you a challenge that involves perhaps you doing a little bit of art. I've given you another description of Nessie, as the Loch Ness Monster is sometimes nicknamed. A description that somebody wrote down when they thought they saw Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster. And I would love you to have a go at doing some artwork and perhaps draw. Based on this description, can you use that description to draw a picture? And if you've still got time, then perhaps you could have a go at writing a description of an animal, but without using that animal's name. So for example, at the bottom of this page, somebody has given a description of an elephant. Could you perhaps write a description of an animal, perhaps something like a giraffe or a wolf or a shark? How about you have a go at that as well? Now, if you get all of that done, P6, then for your final part today, I would love you to go back onto Education City and go and have a go at Play Live Words. By the end of last week, we had 3 different people at the top of our leaderboard. So well done to Jude, Olivia and Abby, who made it into the top 3 spots. I wonder who'll take those top 3 spots this week. So perhaps you would start playing our Play Live Words today, and let's see how you get on. Good luck.